This is a screencast for EDU 707, Week 2, Task 1. And 2 45-minute sessions, multiple tabs to open links, temporary offline notes offline on a pad of paper, and permanent notes online in a Google Doc. And your online notes try to combine information from at least 2 websites, e.g. provide summaries of key ideas that include details from 2 or more web pages. Okay, so I went and did my Google search on one-to-one success. That's my initial search. And I came up with the first one I came up with was how to make one-to-one computing a success. Here it says there's key to success enrolling one-to-one. What are the keys? Okay. Before you look at the keys, you need to have a car. Okay. I think it's important that you define the goals for one-to-one in the process of establishing the initiative. Okay, so that would, to me, that would be one-to-one. First thing, define the goals. Okay, and then now this includes the bring your own device. We're not searching for that right now, but that is something I need to keep in mind. Let me see. It says Morris, who oversaw a one-to-one tablet computing program as instructional technology director before joining. Okay, now that's why it came up with bring your own device. Oh, let me go to the next page and see what we have here. First-hand experience that one-on-one comparing one-year laptop and one-year iPads. 3 third-grade teachers strongly favor going MacBooks. Interesting. Laptops allow much more productivity in creating. Okay, so looking for technology. So determining what hardware to use. MacBooks. Produced much more productivity, more productivity. And creativeness. And iPads were limited to the apps. Limited creativity. Two apps. Okay. So, and then the device should match the needs of the students. Again, laptops work well for many, tablets better for some. So that would also go in the planning stages. Thinking of considering what students will be using. Their needs. Okay, let me see. To worry about buying low-end devices without really, okay. Besides having a sound plan, one that puts the desired learning outcomes and uses to find it will be used. So another one says sound plan. And what are the learning outcomes? Okay. Okay, and then on the third page, let's see if there was anything interesting there. Outcomes must be measured. Okay. Let me see. We need to move beyond thinking in terms of test scores and also measure thinking skills. Okay. Test to thinking skills. Okay, I think we pretty much covered that. So the next one I would go to is going to be the One-to-One Institute. The next one, a website I'll go to is One-to-One, and that's actually One-to-One Institute. Okay, this looks like a good article. Oh, maybe it's just an advertisement. Let me see. One-on-one recommends comprehensive approach when considering implementing. The approach requires complex strategic planning, project management. Okay, again, project planning, management. Common core standards on best in learning organizations. Yeah, the rest of it goes to, it looks like their services, not, well, that's actually what it's under. So let me go back, and the next one we'll go to is a district CIO shares 10 keys to one-to-one success. So that one, this one is okay. District adopted a one-on-one initiative knows that many elements are important, including hard work, dedicated, and a supportive administrator. Here are 10 pieces of advice for just getting started on a one-to-one program based on what has worked and continues to work. In the fall of 2011, 2 years of planning. Again, the planning. They did a lot of research. Central, what do we want our students to know and do? And that will fit along with the learning outcomes. So learning outcomes again. Accomplish our spent time with faculty. They did a lot of research, it looks, with iPads, laptops versus iPads again. And laptops won out again. And that was due to too limited in the production of materials and articles. So basically, it couldn't do the, it was just limiting to the, like the first website we looked at. So I think that is important to know when you're looking at a website. Artifacts, applications. Okay. Faculty also appreciated being able to work in Windows environment. And so it goes on to say that students compose and annotate in the native Windows environment and reaches beyond what we were able to do in the past. Our HP convertibles are awesome. Sustaining the tablets is a financial challenge, but after 3 years implement. Now that to me says that they up here, unless they're talking about the PCs as opposed to iPads. So that's another thought. PC versus iPad. And I think what they're talking about is tablets on this score. And tablets won out. Or the PC tablets won out. So, as I said, the PC tablets seem to have won out, so that was interesting. Next thing is change of culture. Getting all stakeholders on board. Rollout is the best way to begin. We really work hard on culture. The year before we handed out, we worked with staff extensively. They started computers on carts so that teachers and students got used to them and invested in a professional development. By the time the laptop, see, now on this one, the next one, they were talking about the laptops. So I'm not sure. I'm thinking that it was they were talking in the other one, in the previous paragraph, the laptops won out. Okay, so it looks like the change of culture, they were managing the change effectively. By introducing the computers and working continually with staff. So it wasn't just sprung on the staff. So working with staff. Okay. Focus on learning as elaborated tips for keeping learning at the forefront. Watson explains that learning isn't always should be the focal point of everything the district does with technology and other teacher or student tools, from the development of a master vision to weekly meetings between curriculum and IT folks. The key is to focus on essential questions about teaching and learning. So that tells me that they were very dedicated to one theme, and that was the student learning and the learning outcomes. Okay, the next one is prioritize professional development. 30 minutes of professional development every morning. So that was one thing they decided, was to put professional development, make it a priority. So that's interesting on that. Okay, and then offer teachers flexibility. Anticipated for able to wing Add a small wing onto the high school designed to accommodate mobile learning. These spaces served as student lounges. They are open and filled with students that work individually or in small groups. Okay, I'm reading the wrong thing. Let's rethink learning spaces. Back to the offer teachers flexibility. Students value the learning opportunity, personalized. Teachers should be given room to choose what works for them. Don't tell teachers what to do. We provide opportunities for them, a vision and direction, but the faculty responds better when we give them instructional objectives and then back off. So I would say flexibility, they allow flexibility and creativity. So I'm thinking when you put that together, the teachers own the program. It becomes theirs. Okay, that is interesting. Okay, now really think learning spaces. Okay, student working individually. We put in some restaurant style booths. Feel great about what it says. Tweaks to go a long way. Teachers are encouraged to change their classroom configuration to support their instruction. I think that would go along with the creativity and flexibility that are given the teachers. The fact that they designed it that had a special room added. That just that sounds expensive. So let me see. Let the students tell their story. Last year I did one update presentation for the school board, asking students to tell the board about how they use their tablets. There was no one preparation. In the next 10 minutes, the students, most of whom never met before, collaborated electronically, with each one discussing a different program. Allows for collaboration. That's also good. Okay. Okay, and then continue if a new direction or offshoot presents itself, go for it. Education has become a competitive business, so U.S. history, commerce, had to come to school an hour late or leave an hour early. So they allow for virtual school. Or teachers and students. Okay, and then let me see. Continue to prioritize tech integration. So, testing virtual desktops. Except that the work is ongoing and will continually evolve. Okay. That was interesting. And then, especially about how much they allow the teacher flexibility. So, then the next one is educational leadership. This should be interesting. It says research says one-to-one laptop programs are no silver bullet. Some schools ushered in one-to-one laptops with great fanfare have begun to scrap the budget cuts, mushrooming maintenance costs, concerns. Students are using computers are worth the expense and headaches. A recent survey entered 64 leaders of large districts with one-on-one initiative found 33% believe the laptops were having a significant effect on student achievement, and another 45% believe they were having a moderate. Of course, such self-report is prone to be subjectivity. What does more objective research? More engaged learners. Okay. Laptop programs improve significant. Display the same. Okay, so that also this. So this can looks like it's how they compare the demographics of the school district. Cost efficiency. Proponents of one-on-one assert such programs create savings in other areas, such as reduced costs for textbooks, paper assignments, paperwork, as well as reduction in disciplinary actions. So it's saying it's reducing the cost. Okay, so then let me see. More engaged. Okay, we went to the encouraging news. Now the discouraging news. Most large-scale evaluations found mixed or no results in the one-on-one initiative. After 5 years of implementation, the largest one-on-one initiative in the United States, main statewide program evaluation, had little effect on student achievement, with one exception, writing. Evaluation of Michigan's one-to-one laptop program found similar mixed results. So it found higher achievement in 4 laptop schools, lower achievement in 3, and no difference in the final pair. Okay. The study of the Texas middle school students referenced earlier found slightly student growth in mathematics, but no higher growth in reading for the students in the laptop programs. And unlike in Maine, writing scores were actually lower. That probably that will go in line with the next thing that the next search I'm going to make, which will be one-on-one program failures. So I'll go ahead and Google that. So this is the flip side of the program one-to-one success is one-to-one school program failures. And the first site we're going to look at is, are one-to-one laptop programs worth the investment? So let me see. Brand new state-of-the-art K through 8. This looks like it's a personal story. The goal was to prepare students for a technology-driven world in which innovation, creativity, autonomy, and individual and group research was prized along with traditional accumulation of knowledge. The idea was to help them become problem solvers who could use an ever-expanding. We do not have the funding to provide a computer to every student. California did not embrace this concept as other states have done. It was filled by a gap where the gap was filled by parents in a voluntary program in which students brought a laptop from home to use in class. Two years, 60% of the students brought laptops from home with instructional focus of project learning. Students were using computers during day-to-day instruction, learning to, for example, seventh grade science. As a site administrator, many unique to the school had to convince teachers and parents that learning with laptops was a viable and effective way to improve learning and instruction. Today, these challenges have been amplified on two fronts, namely spotty implementation of the laptop programs in general and the attendant diminution of support from teachers and parents, the lack of hard data on the efficacy of the programs, capital involved. Policymakers are taking a harder look at laptop programs. One of them was overwhelmingly positive. The initiative was a matter of policy from state. 6 years, the tide turns. Seeing no progress, some school drops laptops. And I think I have that article that this is talking about. That was under one of the search terms or sites that came up. The teachers were telling us that there's one-on-one between the student and the laptop. The box gets in the way. It's distraction to the educational process. Parents frustrated, spending too much time on video games. Policy and theory did not pan out in practice. So the failure was the policy and the plan, whatever the plan was. Did not pan out. Of course, I'm thinking that the fact that they didn't have laptops, that the state wasn't behind them to provide laptops to everyone. There might have been something to consider. Lack of data on the effect of laptop program on standardized test scores is significant. Achilles heel. Simply stated, laptop programs do not have a direct bearing on standardized test scores. Students improved. Researchers in the laptop program improved in test scores from the prior year at the same rate as other students in the district. In other words, laptop programs did not raise test scores. Advocates would say you can't measure effectiveness with traditional measures of student performance, as it is mismatched skill sets. Further below, research from Department of Education and effectiveness of reading maths concluded there was no measurable difference. Okay. If you consider implementing or continuing a laptop, it is important to recognize the importance of the site administrator and the process and the pressures that he or she will face. The principal will always have to justify the program data. Politics. Let me see what else was there. I'm doing in November 2005. There needs to be a leadership team that looks things through 3 different lenses: the lens of curriculum and content, the lens of culture of the building, and the lens of the technical needs. Instructional fads and laptop programs are sometimes included. Forget to focus on curriculum and content. So, where the failures forget the curriculum and content, where the learning outcomes, or concentrate on them. The successes were because they concentrated on them. Interesting. Culture for all stakeholders. Students take time. Ducks in the water. It's difficult for teachers to change practices without extensive ongoing staff development in the area of technology. Baseline proficiency. So another one was they must have not included professional development. So that's important. Okay. Parents, teachers who use how learning will take place in the school. Then appropriate student use of the internet. Technical needs, standardized computer operating system, decide what standard of software. I think that was the beginning of the other one, where the technical needs and came along with the plan. So I'm thinking that's somewhere along the way from the plan to the putting in place, something went wrong. So I'll go back to the search again, and look at what other ones we have. The next one is why school must move beyond one-to-one computing. Let's see. Well, I'm running out of time on this screencast, so I will go over this article on screencasts part 2. So I will just go ahead and go back to my search criteria, and the other ones we are going to look on at are it's a Castle Brief laptop programs 101, and the article from the previous article that was talking about the ineffectiveness or why one-on-one wouldn't work. I have that one also, and it's see no progress, and that's see no progress. Some schools drop laptops, from the New York Times. And then after that, I'll go into the success and failures of bring your own device, and then look at them and see if they are having the same issues as the one-to-one. And then I will go ahead and do up some permanent notes to go ahead and paste those on to my Google, or put those on my Google Docs of what I have found out about these articles, or my interpretation of them. So this is a screencast for week 2, task 1, part 1.